Oh, there we go. Cool. So just a bit more about CBRE, kind of some of the marketing stats. So as you would have heard, we are the world's largest commercial services and investment firm, which is great. It's fantastic to shout about that. But what that also means is that we do have an incredibly huge reach across the globe in terms of projects and clients, which is fantastic. It means that when you come in as a graduate or part of our next gen cohort into CBRE, you get exposure to all these projects and to all of these kind of clients that we work on as well. So it really does kind of throw you in the deep end, but it does give you a huge range of kind of exposure and experience to add to your kind of studies, and also to kind of make you an all-rounded kind of better surveyor or consultant or analyst, whatever kind of you're wanting to do at the end. For anyone who's kind of new to the real estate industry, or kind of hasn't studied real estate or kind of got a background in real estate, then in the most kind of simple terms, I always try and explain it a bit like playing Monopoly, which is kind of very simple, and it's a lot more complex than that, although Monopoly sometimes can be quite complex. But it's essentially kind of going around, acquiring new properties, developing new properties, kind of collecting income on those properties, selling on properties. It kind of, you encounter kind of all of that in a very small nutshell. In kind of them more specific terms, where we kind of touch in the real estate process is essentially kind of end to end. We look after everything, right from kind of the land acquisition piece to the demolition piece, and we kind of look after everything in between. What we do as CBRE on the advisory side, so we are CBRE Limited, and what we do on that side is mainly the advising piece to our clients. So whether or not that's kind of planning advice, design advice, development advice, or whether or not it's kind of investment advice, we do say sustainability advice. We are the trusted partner to our clients to advise them on their real estate or built environment solutions. So for anyone, again, who hasn't kind of had an experience working with a real estate firm, you can scan this QR code on the screen now, and this will take you through to our virtual work experience, which are job simulations, and so it can give you a bit more of an insight. And I recommend, especially people who are thinking about getting into a career in real estate, if they haven't already studied it at university, really taking the time to go through this, because it will just help to kind of form a bit more of a picture of actually what is involved in real estate, because sometimes it can be a bit of a minefield, or you might think it's going to be one thing, but actually it turns out to be something a bit different. So do take the time to go through that. So I'm going to share another quick video with you, which is from it's also from our next gen cohort, and it's from their favorite things about working at CBRE, just so you hear kind of, although you'll hear from our graduates as well on the call, this is just kind of another group of people saying their favorite thing about working at CBRE. Sorry, I was muted then. As you would have heard just then on the video, we kind of DE&I and inclusivity is hugely important to us at CBRE. We try to make sure that everyone can feel like they can bring their true selves to work. It's really important that you spend kind of, when you're at your workplace, that you're able to kind of be your true self and you're able to kind of bring your whole self to work as well. And that's something that we really strongly believe in and advise in as well. So one of the ways that we have tried to kind of make sure that it is as inclusive and accessible for everyone at CBRE is by having different networks. So they're called Employee Business Resource Groups, or EBRGs for short. And they are a great way of being able to join that network and speak with and network with other people that share kind of similar values and similar interests to you, to kind of help find people outside of your kind of day-to-day team at CBRE. We are a big company, especially in the UK. We've got about 4,000 employees now in the UK across the offices. So you can't meet everyone, you can't get to know everyone, but this is a great way of kind of building that network. So anyone can be a part of any of the networks at any point. You don't have to kind of directly identify with the network. You can just join as an ally. We also have different affinity networks as well, including our SOMO network, which has recently been started to kind of celebrate social mobility within CBRE. So there's loads of different opportunities to kind of meet other people. They do lots of events, charity sessions and things. So there's loads of stuff to get involved in outside of your kind of day-to-day job in CBRE. Another huge thing that we've kind of grown massively in at CBRE is our sustainability. I started at CBRE about 3.5 years ago, and our sustainability team was quite small at that point, but it's grown rapidly, especially with the work that we're doing with our clients and within CBRE to improve our sustainability across the business. We are committed to becoming net zero by 2040. And as you can see on the right, we have run quite a few awards for our sustainability efforts. And we're also working with our clients to ensure that this is at the forefront of our clients' minds as well. So the avenues into CBRE, as I said, I kind of look after all of the recruitment side of this, but we have our graduate schemes, our apprenticeship schemes, and our internship opportunities as well. The main ones I'm going to focus on today are the graduate schemes. For the internship opportunities, they may be relevant to some of the people on this group. They are for those in their penultimate year of their studies, so not final year students. And it's a 4-week summer internship, and it'll be in August in 2025. The applications for those open in March. So if you are interested in those and you're in your penultimate year of studies, please do look out for that in March. And at the end of this, there's a QR code where you can sign up to our talent community to be kept up to date when those adverts go live. But as I said, the one that we're going to focus on is our graduate roles, which are open now. So they opened on the 2nd of September. It's actually, this is incorrect, apologies. That's actually the 20th of October that they'll be closing for all of our advisory roles. So the building surveying, facade engineering, project management, capital allowances, and geomatics will be closing slightly later, the beginning of November, but the rest of them will all be closing on the 20th of October. All of our schemes are 2 years long, and they start in September. So it'll be September 2025 next year. And across that, some of them are rotational, so you'll go through different rotations through different teams. Some of them will just stay within one team, but you'll kind of rotate around different teams within that team, if that makes sense, because of the size of the business. We still have kind of teams within teams. So you still do get that kind of access to kind of learning different areas of that pathway. So I'm going to stop talking now and hand over to our current graduates. I will also stop sharing my screen so you can see them a bit larger. I'll pass first over to Robin, if you want to just intro yourself and kind of who you are, and then tell us a bit about kind of your experience at CBRE.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone. I'm Robin Clement. I'm a first year graduate, so I've just started in the Leeds office. So I'm on my first rotation and I'm in property management. So kind of just getting started. I've had my induction about a month ago, and then I just had about 3 weeks in the office. So I think it's great to be able to talk to you kind of about my experience of the application process, and what it's like being a new starter and how I found CBRE in the regional office so far. I think I would just say about the application process. I know like a lot of you will be in your third year or you'll be starting a master's and there's a lot going on. But I would say just make time to apply. I think it's so good going into the interviews, having kind of just been in education or kind of having the course fresh in your mind. So I think that is really just get stuck in. Like it doesn't take that long and it's not going to take over your life. Do not worry about it. And in terms of the assessment centre, I think everyone hypes them up as something that's really scary, and they're just not. People are people. The team will welcome you and they'll be really lovely, and you get to meet so many great people. And I've actually met some like really good friends on that day that I still talk to now, because obviously they're bringing like-minded people together. So I definitely say, I know nerves are natural, but don't be overwhelmed by it. It's going to be a great time. And then I think as a new starter, it's been really interesting. I think unlike quite a lot of other grad schemes, you get quite a lot of responsibility, but that's not thrown at you on day one. You get plenty of time to shadow people, to learn, and you kind of get that responsibility when it feels natural. Like it's not just something that's going to be thrust upon you. Do not worry about it. And then also on the graduate programme, there's an induction week that Hannah talked about. So I've been on mine quite recently, and it's such a great way. It's like kind of get an introduction to CBRE and meet your fellow grads. I think that's great because it's someone you can reach out to, people that aren't in your line management, to kind of have those conversations that you might not want to raise in the office. And then kind of these guys obviously talk about their experience at the London office, which I've always seen from the video. It is a beautiful office, but we do have beautiful regional offices as well. It's quite nice being a part of a smaller office because as a grad, you want to learn about as many departments as you can. And I think it's quite nice literally being able to walk over and have a conversation from someone from agency or property management without having to send an email or kind of all that formality, and kind of getting to know everyone in the office, which is quite nice. And we have a gym as well, which is lovely, just like the HH one. And we have a cycle store and all the fancy stuff too. So don't worry, the regional offices are just as good as the London office. And there's plenty of opportunities to socialise. I think I've been here maybe 4 weeks and I've already been out for drinks twice. I've been in a Pilates session. There's weekly run clubs. I've been on a northern property walk. There's like so much to get involved in. So no, I've really enjoyed my time so far. And hopefully everyone else can kind of share their experience in long term.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Robin. Just out of interest, did you come from a cognate or a non-cognate background?
Yeah, so I came from a cognate background, but my undergraduate was completely different to my master's. So I did anthropology for 3 years in Exeter, then I moved up to Sheffield to do my master's in real estate. And I would say, like, do not let that push you off and put you off like applying, because when I started and I applied for the job, I honestly had just started my master's. I knew hardly anything about property, but they're not kind of wanting to know that you know about property. They just kind of want to know you have a passion and that you're willing to learn. So honestly, if you come from a non-cognate background as well, I'd really recommend.
Amazing. Thank you. Hamish, I'll pass over to you next.
Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Hamish Howarth. I'm a second year graduate here at CBRE. I'm on the commercial scheme and I am based in London in the Henrietta House office. I guess as I've been here, I'm now in my second year, I've been here a year, I've got a good grasp of what CBRE is like. I suppose the first good thing about the graduate scheme is the rotation, as Hannah has mentioned. You get the opportunity to rotate between lots of different teams, and you have that opportunity to choose the team that you're most interested in. So for example, the past year, I've been in the occupier accounts team, which has been a super interesting and exciting year. Essentially in this team, I got the opportunity to work with some of the world's largest corporates and help manage their EMEA and global portfolios in terms of transactions. So it was a super, super exciting role to be global as well. And something that I wasn't expecting as coming in as a graduate was the opportunity to engage with clients just as myself. I thought I would be shadowing and sort of hiding behind someone that was more senior, but I had the opportunity to jump in and present to clients and lead projects with these clients over the course of the year, and running projects just for myself, which as a graduate, people expect it to be sort of gradmin heavy, but I mean, to have that client exposure, it was really exciting. And I think that's a perk to the graduate scheme here at CBRE. Everyone's willing to give you that opportunity and responsibility to help you progress professionally, etc. Another benefit of the Next Gen I found is the sort of training and networking opportunities we have here. I guess, as Hannah's touched on, the networks are a great way to meet people around the business, not just located within the office that you are based in, but also around the country, around the world. So again, great potential to network there. And then the training events, CBRE has really good structured training events. It's either introduction to a team and learning a new part of the real estate industry, or talks from professionals in all sorts of professions and telling them about their story and how they've become successful in whatever industry they've come from. And I suppose one thing I want to leave with you all is obviously the people at CBRE. Everyone is really, really nice and very much open to give you some of their time, especially at the senior levels, which again, coming into a large firm, I thought it would be hierarchical, but here at CBRE, there's none of that. Everyone is the same level. You can go up to whoever you want in the business and say, can we have a chat or a conversation? And they would be happy to give you some of their time. So I think that reflects the positive culture that we have here at CBRE. And yeah, I would very much recommend getting involved and applying.
Amazing, thank you. And then lastly, Amir.
Hi everyone, my name's Amir. I mean, Robin and Hamish have gone through all the nice stuff. I'll just speak about my experience with this graduate role. I'm originally from Leicester, but I'm based in the London office. Did an undergrad from Warwick in management. Knew nothing about commercial property. Applied for a summer internship, and I was in valuations doing my summer internship, and then applied for the grad scheme. I would say it's been a very, very nice journey throughout last year, working with my land manager, who became a very close friend of mine. And I would say, I think Hamish just said that, the people are really nice. I would second that because they give you their time. They're highly experienced people, know a lot about the industry, a lot about what they're doing. And it's just the culture around the company is really, really nice when it comes to like supporting junior staff or whatever. I would say that working in the London office gives you exposure to a lot of, amazing clients. I'm pretty sure regional offices are the same. I valued shopping centres in my valuation seat last year, and I worked on big shopping centres such as Liverpool One, Meadowhall in Sheffield, Blue Water, all shopping centres, like really big shopping centres across the country. So I would say to get that kind of exposure in an entry level kind of a role is absolutely amazing. And like I said, the two before me have highlighted all the nice things. I would say APC, if you're thinking about your APC and if you're a cognate and you know about it. So great support. We have a lot of assessors within the company and people who are actively involved in APC related stuff. You will get all the support you need. And like I said, everybody's so nice, especially Hannah. So you'll have a great time here.
Just to clarify on that, Amir, do you mind just for people who might not know what the APC is, can you just talk through that and kind of what's involved in that as well?
So the APC is like an exam, like an interview that you sit after you've done your master's and then 6 months of structured training, and you choose competencies out of which you present a case study, and you're assessed on the basis of those competencies, whether if you should be chartered surveyor or not. Yeah, that's what it is. There's plenty more information on probably.
And that's kind of what you're working up to,
Yes.
Especially in the commercial pathway. That's what you're looking to get to, because once you pass that, that's when you get your chartered surveyor, RICS accredited qualification. Is it easy?
Yes. The people make it very easy. I'm just gonna say, if you're a people's person, you know how to, like, get involved with people. This is your place. Start applying.
But I've heard that the APC can be tricky as well. So
Yes,
you
it
have
can
to.
be tricky. It's not easy, especially, like, the learning curve for a non-cognate to come into this role, the pathway. It might be a learning curve for you if you're trying to get around and you don't have any prior knowledge of it, but it's not impossible. I mean, I see so many people who are non-cognates and they're doing amazing. They're absolutely, like, doing a great job. So it can be tough, but hard work gets you to, all the nice places you need to go to.
Amazing, thank you. I'm just going to quickly finish off on the presentation, and then once I've done that, we'll go to the chat. We'll go to the questions box. I have got it currently sorted in order of, like, votes. So we'll try and get through as many questions as possible. But if there's another question on there that you think you want asking or answering, just click on the vote for that, so it goes towards the top, and kind of have a look just to see if there's anyone who's asked a similar question that you've already asked, just to avoid duplications, and so we can get through that as quick as possible. So we've obviously spoken about a lot of the benefits of working at CBRE, and I just want to caveat that as well. I personally, and I probably would say this because I am biased, I personally love this company. I completely echo what's been said about the people. I think that's one of our kind of, I would say that is probably the best thing about this company. We do have a fantastic culture and we do really value people. We are ultimately a people-led business. The real estate industry is a networking, people-led industry. So that's kind of hugely important to us. And I think you can kind of see that throughout in the culture. I would also say as well, we are very much a kind of work hard, play hard company. We make sure that we kind of do lots of socials and charity work and kind of giving lots of time back. But that does also come with a lot of hard work. We are 9 to 5, but there are times that you will need to work later. We do expect you to be in the office. We do expect you to be working hard. Last year, we had just under 9,000 applicants, and we hired around about 50 people. So what I said to our graduates when they started this year was that they've already performed in the top 1% of people that kind of applied for this position. So we expect you to continue to perform in that top 1% of people in the business. You are we kind of look to our graduates and our apprentices as our kind of shining stars in the business. So it does come with hard work, but the rewards and the benefits off the back of it, I think kind of make that all worthwhile. So I'm not going to spend too long on here, but just a couple of things to point out. So as mentioned, we do have that dedicated learning and development team that will support you through your accreditations, but also through kind of soft skill training, hard skill training, kind of everything really. They're always there for you. You'll see on our adverts, all of our salaries are posted on there. We are kind of very competitively placed in terms of our salaries, and we do give you a salary review each year, along with kind of bonuses and things. You are part of that kind of wider cohort. We do encourage you to do charity events, and we have what's referred to as our junior boards, so people can kind of get involved in there, and that goes straight up to our CEO. So you can make kind of changes and differences in the business if that's something that you're keen to do as well. So in terms of the application process, if for those who haven't already yet applied, please do. And I recommend just applying as soon as possible. It's super easy to apply. All you have to do is go on and complete a form, which is essentially just kind of bio data, your name, contact details, your degree, which university you went to, etc. It's very kind of just filling in boxes, but it will take probably no longer than 5 minutes to apply. We don't require cover letters. Everything's kind of based initially off of the online testing. So should you meet the minimum requirements for that role, you'll be invited to do our online testing, which is a gamification style testing. It's purely based on, it's purely testing your behaviours. So we are looking for those who are most kind of behaviourally aligned to those behaviours that we've identified as successful for working at CBRE. My one piece of advice with that is take your time. The kind of first initial shortlisting is based off of that online testing. So really do take the time and focus and kind of concentrate on that, because if you don't pass that, or if you don't do well enough on that, then unfortunately that's your application then kind of not going any further. So really do take the time on that. Those who are successful from that point, we then shortlist down and invite to our phone screening, which is a telephone interview with a real life person. There's none of these kind of videoing yourselves doing these interview questions or anything. You will be speaking to a real person in about a kind of a 10-minute phone call, just to chat through a couple of questions about CBRE. And then if you are successful from those two stages, we'll invite you to our assessment centres. In the assessment centre, it all consists of 2 group activities, and we're essentially just kind of seeing how you work with other people and kind of the behaviours that you demonstrate. And from there, successful candidates will be invited to a final interview. I would just caveat that the assessment centre and the final interviews are to be held in person. So we would require you to be in the UK in person for those assessment centres. And then from that final interview, we'll then select our kind of offered candidates. So that's kind of everything from me. On here, if you scan this, it's another QR code. It's different from the other one, but this has got more information about our different programs, about CBRE, but also on there you can register your interest to our talent community. If you're not currently in a position to apply, then sign up to our talent community so that then you'll be kept up to date with kind of updates and when adverts go live and things in the future. And any other further questions that you do have, if they don't get answered today, please just email this CBRE nextgeneration@cbre.com. I'll leave that on a couple of moments and I'll flick over to the questions. So the first one is, I've heard that in part of the application there is a test which involves various tasks. Is this true? And if so, do you have any recommendations for how to practice or take the test? So yes, this is the online gamification testing, which everyone kind of, I think people are starting to talk about more. You just have to focus on it in terms of kind of dedicating that time. It's based on you and your kind of natural default behaviors. You can't cheat the test. You can't use ChatGPT. You can't use AI. You can give it a go, but it's actually already been tested and it shows that people who do use ChatGPT perform lower in the test than real life people. So you can try it, but you probably won't get very far. But it's based on yourself. Just give it your best go. And there are elements on it that are designed to be very hard, but don't kind of panic about it too much. Also, everyone who completes the testing will then get an individualized report telling you your kind of strength and weaknesses areas, so that you can also go away and kind of focus on that. Should you also be invited to the next stage, it shows then you can kind of which areas you might need to focus on and things in terms of kind of going forward through to the next stages of the application. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Robin, given that you've recently just done it, I don't know if you have anything that you want to add to that at all?
Yeah, I also just want to say, like, they're not horrible games. They're like actual games. So it's kind of enjoyable to do. Like, I wouldn't be that worried about it. I think, like Hannah said, just make sure you're in like a quiet room and that no one's going to disturb you, because I don't know if it's timed or something as well, but I would just genuinely just kind of enjoy it. We all talk about it in the office today. Like, did you do that one with the spinning thing? I'm like, yeah, I did that one as well. So yeah, they're more game based than actually like hard looking tests.
Yeah, agreed. Cool. So hopefully that does answer that. If anyone else has any other questions on that, then do just let me know. The next one is how the application's narrowed down. Is there a certain criteria that pre-selects certain resumes, and what can I do to stand out? So on that one, it's initially, like I said, it's based off of the testing that kind of determines people who get through to the next stage. The criteria is more around behaviors. It's not, we have kind of certain things. So for example, some of our pathways, you have to have had a certain degree. So in that instance, yes, you won't be put forward if you don't have that degree, but that's really clear on the job description. But the rest of it is kind of based around your behaviors and kind of how you present yourself and those types of things. A lot of our roles aren't hugely kind of technical based. It is more kind of you as a person. In terms of what they can do to stand out, does anyone else have anything? I mean, mine is normally just kind of passion and research and kind of showing that you have kind of done that work, that kind of pre-work, I suppose, before coming to the assessment centre. I don't know if anyone else has anything that they want to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, I might just jump in there. I guess having a reason why CBRE and actually being passionate about joining CBRE will get you really far. If obviously you've done research and you know that real estate is the industry for you, then maybe that might not give you as much of a selling point, but understanding why you want to come to CBRE will help you massively and help sell you as a person. So yeah, I guess the final word is just passion. Just be passionate about joining CBRE.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you. So throughout the application recruitment process, what do you look for the most in an individual? So yeah, kind of the same thing, really. I suppose one of the big things for me is always kind of, it is that maybe passion's not necessarily the right word, because I think passion's sometimes quite hard to quantify, but it's also that kind of motivation. What motivates you to want to work at CBRE in the specific pathway that you've applied to, and kind of also, why should we go for you over the other 8,000 people who have applied? If you're able to kind of talk to that, I think that helps. Because otherwise it's essentially kind of it's your first kind of selling job, I suppose, really. Sell yourself. Why are you better than everyone else that's applied, and why should we go for you over that other person? So it's kind of and why have you taken the steps to want to go to CBRE? Is kind of normally what I look out for, I think. If anyone else, again, I suppose that's, yeah, we've kind of covered that one. I'm conscious of time and getting through them as quick as possible. If anyone does have anything they want to add on, by the way, just jump in. Is the only graduate start date during September? Is there a second intake? No, it's just in September. So yeah, we just do one graduate intake a year. International students, is sponsorship available? So in terms of sponsorship, we ask you to have your own right to work in the UK from the commencement of your start date. So that's on all of our job descriptions. If you want to go and have a look at that, that's the kind of requirement on that, is that you must have your own right to work in the UK at the commencement of your graduate scheme. With the online testing, what key skills and attributes are you looking for? I'm not going to tell you that, because otherwise I might as well just give you all the answers. But I would just say be yourself, because you also, so if there's another company that you apply for and they're using the same tool, so we use a company called Arctic Shores to do our testing. There are other companies who also use Arctic Shores. You might pass ours because we've selected behaviours that we've decided are successful for us, but you might not get through on another one, and vice versa. It's those behaviors we've identified as successful for our business, but also they're natural behaviors. So it's kind of we're kind of testing people on that kind of natural default level. So just be yourself, just play the games and see how it goes, really. Next one. Can we apply for 2 schemes? Yes, you can, but I recommend having a preference, because you will be asked at some point to make a decision on which one preference is. And if you can't answer that, also doesn't sometimes help, because especially hiring managers want to know kind of where your preference is. They're all about applications. Sorry, team. Hopefully I will have some for you soon. Gosh, they're all jumping about now. If a recent graduate has missed this year's graduate scheme, can they apply for next year's? So our graduate applications are open now. They close on the 20th of October, so you can still apply now. If you miss this year's, then you can apply for next year's. I wouldn't know that you've missed this year's. Questions for graduates. Here we go. What stage of the application process did you find the most challenging, and why? Anyone jump in?
I would say for me, it was kind of the assessment center and trying to make sure I was ready for it. I would say I didn't do too bad. What I would think is because I did my research on the topics that were given to us. And I think if you are strategic about your ways about presenting what you've researched and the topics that are given to you, it will help a lot. So that was my challenging part. Hamish, what was challenging for you?
I guess sort of to go on from that point, I guess in the assessment center as well, I did a bit of research as well around those topics. And I think advice that I was given and advice I'd give to you is try not to be the loudest in the room. Obviously, everyone's trying to sell themselves, but you've got to be a team player and allow other people to sort of have their say and lead the conversation on. If you're the loudest, I think it maybe looks badly on you, even though you've done the research and you might know everything. So I think maybe just holding back a bit and giving everyone else the opportunity to be involved in the team is, I guess, a challenge, but also something you should be aware of.
Robin, anything from you?
I hate to say the same, but the assessment centre, it is intense. Obviously, you want to do well, so you're going to put quite a bit of pressure on yourself. But I would also say, I know everyone hates hearing this, but be yourself. I've talked to people who are on the panel, and they're not looking for one type of person. They're looking for kind of different types of individuals. A company would be boring if it was made up of the same people. So I would just say, be yourself and don't be worried about that. Just go with confidence.
Can I add one little more thing? Hannah, do we still have those last interviews with an industry specialist and then a HR?
Yes, they're both with industry, where they're both with the business now.
Okay, so I would say when you guys get to that stage, make sure, first of all, you know your stuff, but present who you are, because what makes you different, like Hannah said, out of the 9,000 people that are also applying, that is the point where you show yourself why you deserve this more than somebody else. So I'd say that was very kind of tricky for me as well. But if you have that special thing about you, or you can present it, I think that helps a lot.
I completely agree with that. I think being because also I'm a very firm believer that getting a job is also kind of, and this is a really weird way of putting it, is kind of like a relationship. It is you have to find the right company for you, but also the company has to find the right person for them as well. It's a two-way street. I always strongly advise people to research a variety of companies, and if CBRE is your one that you decide on, that's great that you've come to that decision. but do your research to make sure that that's your decision, because you're committing your next 2-3 years to this company, and you're also committing like what, a third of your life, like your day-to-day life, to that company as well. If you can't be yourself and if you don't fully enjoy that company, you're not going to have a good time, and it's going to be really tricky. But to me, I can be myself when I go to work, and if I hadn't have been myself when I first kind of interviewed for this position, I think I'd find that really tricky to try and keep up that same persona that I was there. And also, yeah, so 100% be yourself, and also find out that it's definitely the right company for you too. Cool, thanks everyone. I'm just I'm making sure that I haven't missed any. So international student, again, we've spoken about that. I've seen outcomes getting affected due to the answers on that. They shouldn't be. No one would be deselected from a process because they require sponsorship. The only thing that your application would be affected because of that. When you click to apply for the role, it provides an option to upload a CV and a cover letter. Is this not needed? Cover letter is not needed. If you really want to upload one, you can, but it might not be looked at. It asks for it it gives you the option to upload it on there because some of our other countries do require cover letters, but in the UK we don't, so you don't need that. Is it compulsory to do a master's before working towards your APC? Yes, so you will need to. Hamish, you just shook your head. Am I incorrect there?
No, sorry, you are correct. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
It's an RSCS accredited degree, sorry.
Yes.
Apologies.
You need to have a RICS accredited degree in order to start your RICS APC. So yeah, in that instance, yes. But if you've already done an undergrad that's RICS accredited, you won't need to do your master's. So there's another one about sponsorship, which we've answered. I've heard from career consultants that graduate hires look for cookie cutter applicants rather than applicants who stand out or are unique. Is this true for CBRE? Hopefully we've just touched on that. I personally would hate if I only hired cookie cutter people, because it would be super boring. So no, we're not looking for the same person. There's not a kind of one size fits all. And also every pathway is different as well. And then within the pathways, you've got different teams that are different and require different skills, different behaviors. There's kind of, some people always worry as well, if they're a bit more introvert, that they're going to struggle in the assessment centre. We hire every kind of person at CBRE. We're not looking for just one type of person, because there are different teams that require different skills and different abilities and different personalities. So yeah, absolutely not. No need to kind of worry on that. There's not a kind of one size fits all. I particularly liked the longer rotation schemes on offer at CBRE. As a graduate, do you feel this has better prepared you for the APC, as well as allowing you to add, where's that just gone? I think said something about adding value. Oh yeah, do you feel this better prepared you for the APC, as well as allowing you to add value to the business more meaningfully? I'll fire over to Hamish or Amir on that one.
I guess if I go first, I think, longer rotation, I think, is definitely beneficial. And I think that's what I'm enjoying most about being at CBRE. I think being able to sit in a team and have a bit longer to sort of learn a process and then apply that process, I think is better, rather than if other firms, they're shorter, maybe 4-month rotations. I feel like that doesn't give you much time to add that value and sort of implement what you've learned. So I feel, the longer rotations do give you that time, and then you can apply it. And then I think that makes you develop more as a professional, and then helps towards the APC. But Amir, add to that if you would like.
I would second what Hamish said, and it just gives you a lot more time to kind of fully take in all the necessary skills you require when you are in that seat. Like I was doing shopping centres valuations. I spent a lot of time on it, went into the details of how to value, the methods of valuations and stuff like that. So it gives you that the amount of time you need to fully understand and get a grasp of what the seat that you're in is offering to you. So I'd say it is absolutely a perfect time frame to be in a seat. On that note, Hannah, can I've got a meeting.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, jump away. That's fine. Thanks so much,
Thank you very much, guys. Good luck.
On that as well, I would just say the longer rotation, the reason why we do that, so it's worth noting in the regions, so in Robin's world, in the Leeds office, we do slightly shorter rotations because they are slightly smaller teams. So Robin, I think you'll do 3 or 4 rotations in Leeds, if I'm correct. Then the reason why we have the longer rotations in London is because of the size of the projects and because of the complexity of some of the projects that we're working on. We stick to the 12-month rotations because it kind of gives you that 6 months to kind of get to grips with what you're doing, and then the other 6 months to actually start kind of adding value and making an impact in that team. So we kind of hear from the graduates that it does work well like that. What topics are discussed in the assessment centre? It changes each year. We'll send out kind of pre-work information before the assessment centre, so everyone has all of the information that they need for that. How long does it take to hear back after the assessment centre stage? Normally like a day or 2 after the assessment centres. For the online assessment, we update everyone after all of the applications are closed on and all of the testing's closed on the 23rd of October. The testing closes, so we'll update everyone after that. I think, is it possible to work in cities abroad considering CBRE is a global organisation? Yes, it is. Sometimes within your rotations you're able to do that. Not all the time, we can't guarantee it. But kind of after your graduate scheme, there are opportunities for kind of working abroad as well. Our foreign grad schemes offered, each country has their own early careers program. So worth just having a look on each country's website. What topics were discussed last year? I'm not going to tell you because that would again be kind of giving things away. We'll tell you everything that you need to know if you kind of come to the assessment centres. I've applied for the ESG graduate scheme and I just finished my online system. I would like to know what KBRE looks for in ESG graduates and how can I best showcase during those. I would just recommend having a look at the job description. That would probably be the best way of kind of understanding what we're looking for. That kind of gives you quite a descriptive overview there in terms of that. Could you explain how the rotations are determined? So we ask for preferences and we try and accommodate preferences where possible. It's not always possible, but that's kind of, we normally take a first or second preference in terms of rotations, but ultimately we are a business and we have business needs in particular areas, and there are always seats that are more popular than others, and sometimes we have seats that we do just need to put people into, so it kind of varies really. Do you have to complete the game-based assessment before the 20th of October? It's before the 23rd of October is the deadline. It's all stated on the application, on the online testing. Is there a graduate scheme in Southeast Asia? Again, just have a look on their country website. Other opportunities in smaller cities too, like Nottingham. We don't have an office in Nottingham. We have offices in Birmingham, Bristol, Southampton, London, Oxford, Leeds, Liverpool, Manchester, Aberdeen, Glasgow and Edinburgh. So have a look, and on the website each of the schemes that are available in those offices are kind of put on there. Can I do a part-time job, or should I apply after completing my master's? I would recommend applying after you've done your master's. The kind of focus on your master's, we also don't have a huge amount of part-time jobs. They would be on more, but if they are available, they'll be on our careers site that you can have a look at there. I'm conscious of time, so I'm trying to get through them as quickly as I can. How many grads do you hire for commercial pathway in London? It varies each year. It is our most it's our biggest intake in commercial London, though, which is what I would say. So it's normally kind of around about 15 to 20. I'm currently at uni. Is CBRE offering any work placement for students in Glasgow? So they will, I believe they might be having internships next year. It's worth having a look online, or signing up to, or kind of dropping us an email and seeing if there's anything available there. Sorry, unfortunately don't find. Okay. Thanks, Mark. No worries. Is this for university graduates only? So our graduate opportunities are for graduates only. Our apprenticeship opportunities, you do not need to have done a and when I say graduate opportunities are for graduates only, therefore people who have completed a degree only. So we don't have kind of an upper age limit in terms of applicants on our graduate scheme, but we do also have our apprenticeship opportunities for those who haven't been to university. Graduate scheme. There's an answer. Anything that's outside of our graduate schemes, I'd recommend just having a look on our careers page to see if there's anything on there in terms of jobs. What kind of questions are asked? Again, you'll find out at the time. Explain APC more. Hopefully we've done that. I think that was asked a while ago. I'm going to just now move to ones that have not been answered and try and get through them as quick as possible. When we have graduate scheme after January, so the next one will be next September. They open every September. Do you run any in-person networking events for final year uni students? We, in the offices currently, I don't think we've got any, but there might be some coming up. We are going out to universities, but if you're kind of interested in wanting to speak to people more, then I'd recommend just getting in touch with us or reaching out to people on LinkedIn. That's probably the best way of contacting people. I've worked with CBRE before, not directly as an HR and client handling. Do you have any openings for the same part-time? Again, part-time, just have a look on our careers page. Do you give priority to people who have done CBRE internships? What's the ratio like? Sometimes we do, yes, but we don't have as many internships as we have graduate placements, so there's still lots of opportunities available. So for any neurodiversity adjustments that need to be made, you just need to email us about those before starting the test, and we can add those to the test for you. We can make those adjustments directly onto the test, and then we can resend you a link, but you must do it before you've started the test. Otherwise, we're not able to add any adjustments. Do you give priority? That I've already answered that one. I've taken a gap year. Yes, the apprenticeship application is exactly the same as the graduate application. They pretty much mirror each other. Seeing the competition is so high, I wanted us as an assistant rather than a graduate. Again, have a look on the careers page. I'm coming down to the last few. I recommend not asking any more questions now after this. Where do you post about in-person? Drop me an email. That's probably the best way. If you want to apply for grad scheme next year, September after graduation, to apply before the end of this month. So if you apply now, that's to start in September 2025. And would I still be able to, as long as you've got a degree, you can apply for the graduate scheme. I'm doing my master's in project management. I work at CBRE for so again, you can apply to our graduate schemes in project management. That's fine. I'm about to finish my degree and can I apply to. How do you support diversity for people with learning difficulties? So we have a an ability network which can support people with who are neurodivergent. We also have the kind of tools and things in place that we can do to support people who have kind of learning difficulties or any kind of neurodivergencies. We can kind of support that along. We tailor it to each person and their needs and adjustments that they need. When do summer applications, internship applications, they open in March? Which graduate roles have the most applications? It varies. It completely varies. I'm going to stop answering questions there. Because otherwise I'm conscious that I could potentially be here all day. But thank you so much to everyone who did join, and thank you to our graduates on screen. If you do have any other further questions, then please do just drop me an email at CBRE Next Generation at CBRE.com. So it's CBRE Next Generation at CBRE.com. But yeah, that's everything from me. Thank you everyone for joining, and yeah, best of luck with your applications, and hopefully speak to you soon.